And then there were five nights to go before WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia. Tonight, a massive Monday Night Raw, the go-home show for the Red Brand for WrestleMania 40. And WWE is pulling out all the stops. The Rock, Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, they're all advertised for tonight's show. In the first hour, completely commercial free. So again, WWE pulling out all the stops. Now they only have 11 matches penciled in for both nights of Mania. They want a bare minimum of 14, 7 and 7, right? A lot of money's being spent on this event. You don't want too many matches. It'll dilute the show, but you also don't want too less. The fans, especially in attendance, won't feel like they got their money's worth. So 7 and 7 is kind of what they've landed on. The problem with that is the math doesn't add up. You still need to pencil in at least 3 more matches. You only have 2 nights to do it, 2 shows. So they'll have to tackle that issue from the jump on tonight's show. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. All of the latest news coming out of the weekend. We got you covered. Again, just 5 nights away from WrestleMania 40. Perhaps the biggest story coming out of the weekend is Cody Rhodes confirming that he has already signed a new multi-year contract with World Wrestling Entertainment. And this will put to bed all of the fans that are claiming, I bet you he wishes he never left AEW. Which BC always thought that was a delusional thing to say. No matter how you feel about his booking in WWE, and trust me, 39 was a debacle. Instead of hoisting up that championship, which he should have, he was laying down next to a rubber chicken. That was a botch of epic proportions booking-wise. But no matter how you feel about his booking, this dude has always been one of the top guys the moment he stepped back in WWE. 2 straight WrestleMania main events, Royal Rumble victories, millions of dollars being chucked at him from the company and looked at as the next star for the kids, for the families to really put on a pedestal. This is everything Cody Rhodes has always dreamed about. The American dream to a T for Cody Rhodes. And there was just some fans that just because of some poor booking choices honestly believe that he thought he should have never left AEW. When you really got to think back, when he left AEW, he was backed up into a corner. He couldn't even go for their world title anymore. His booking was starting to become mid-AF. They were starting to boo the guy, and to quote the old Shawn Michaels storyline, the dude lost his smile in AEW. And that was as an executive, an EVP, and he didn't want to be there. That's not good. You look at this Cody Rhodes. I mean, the dude is always smiling. You got to believe that's authentic. Even at times we want him to stop smiling to sell the story. The dude can't help but smile. He's living the dream he always wanted to live. This will put to bed all of those AEW claims. He has re-signed already, and that's before WrestleMania. And that's not a good sign, by the way. This is more further proof, more evidence that Roman Reigns more than likely is walking out of Philadelphia with that championship. Because we said it once, we've said it a million times on this channel. That was always the plan. Roman Reigns walking out of Philly with that title, tackle Hulk Hogan's record, and then Paul Levesque McMahon can have his wet dream of Bruno Sammartino and Roman Reigns. Roman in the chase. And further indication that that's the road the company wants to ride on, Hulk Hogan, and this has been confirmed, Hogan is being brought in for WrestleMania 40 weekend. He will be at WWE World on Sunday, April 7th, hours before the Big Night 2 event, and we're also hearing the company is planning on utilizing him in some capacity on the main show itself. We have no word on if that's night 1 or night 2, if that'll be in a segment with Jonathan Cena and Stephen Austin, who we're also hearing they're trying to bring in. So no word on the specifics, but we can confirm Hulk Hogan is being brought in by WWE again. We're seeing a heavy presence of Hulk Hogan, and it's still early in the year. Celebrating 40 years of Hulkamania when he won the championship. Mind you, I mean, now we're putting the focus on that all of a sudden. Now we're celebrating 40 years of Hulk Hogan. Right around the corner of Roman about to beat his record. Again, just These little things, they keep adding up. So while the whole wrestling world is already anointing Cody Rhodes the next champion, I am just planting the seeds so you will not be totally shocked if that doesn't happen. Because the company itself, the goal has been to keep that title on Roman. The only thing that would sway that now is if that minority of fans that screamed from the mountaintop that Cody has to finish his story, is that enough for Paul Levesque McMahon to change his plans? So Cody Rhodes has signed a new multi-year deal. Hulk Hogan is being brought in. Both things kind of fall into the category of Roman is walking away with that championship. Now, sticking with WrestleMania, a massive match has been announced over the weekend, and this was literally an hour after SmackDown went off the air. And that's why I say it's a massive match, because it has to do with Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, and Naomi, all on one team. This is like a super alliance, right? We saw it on Friday. They fended off Damage Control. And we kind of thought, okay, that's the way that they're going to have Naomi and Belair win those titles. If that is indeed what's going to happen, Jade is going to help them. But then there was talk, well, what if they did a six-woman tag? But that makes no sense, of course, because the tag titles have to be defended. But no, an hour after SmackDown went off the air, they pretty much made this match official. Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, and Naomi versus Asuka and Kairi, your tag title holders, and Dakota Kai. It's a massive 6-woman tag. There's no doubt about that. Just watching Jade, Bianca, and Naomi on one team. I don't know if there's another 3-person female unit that could take them out. So I kind of feel bad for Asuka and Kairi and Dakota, because that's an automatic L at Mania, right? And for Asuka, that's going to pit her at 0-6, I believe, at WrestleMania. At this point, they're doing a reverse Undertaker with Asuka. And I truly believe that that's going to become part of a story, right? And like late in the game, when she's like 50-something years old, she's going to like win a WrestleMania match. There's going to be pyro, confetti. Fans are going to be going ballistic. But they're pulling a reverse Undertaker, because that's 0-6 for Asuka. That's an automatic L. On one hand, this is massive. It's going to be interesting to see how this match is pulled off. And just seeing those 3 ladies together, that's pretty special. On the other hand, how are you not going to have your tag titles defended? It's bad enough the dudes have about 100 teams taking on the champions at WrestleMania. We'll get to that in a minute, by the way, because I have some news on that. But it's bad enough that that's going on with the dudes. The women, they don't even have a title match. I say, you know what? I say you put Kairi and Asuka, you put them in night 1 or night 2, whichever the flip-flop is. Whatever night that 6-woman tag is on, the other night you still have the tag titles defended. The problem with that is, with only 2 shows left, how do you even start that? Who's the number 1 contenders? So I think they're just going to focus on the 6-woman tag. It just makes no sense. It's WrestleMania. The tag titles will not be on the line. But listen, it's Mania week. We try to look at the glass as half full instead of half empty. So we get the 6-woman tag. It's going to be pretty special to see these 3 ladies together. It'll absolutely suck to see Asuka collect her 6th in a row WrestleMania loss. But such is. That is a confirmed match, guys. In case after SmackDown, you pretty much just put wrestling on the shelf until BC cut his next upload. That match is already official. That's not just something we're speculating on. Now, sticking with the tag teams, but flipping it over to the dudes. Pretty Deadly is reportedly, at least internally, being talked about to be added to the tag team title schmaz match at WrestleMania for the dudes. So, unless you've been living underneath a rock, and we don't mean Dwayne Johnson, the past several weeks they've been doing this stupid tournament where a bunch of teams will get to WrestleMania and go for the tag titles in like a 6 tag team match. Judgment Day, you got Petey Dunne and Tyler Bate. I call them the Micro Machines. Waller and Theory, I believe, are in this match. DIY, I believe, is in this match. I mean, I'm a little lost on him. Just a bunch of teams. I don't know how this screams fair for Judgment Day. You would think you're going to take on number 1 contenders. You're going to take on the number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5 contenders as well. And now it looks like number 6, because Pretty Deadly is being talked about. It's not confirmed as of now. They had a massive W on Friday night over Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. So if they do get added, that's obviously how they're going to play it. Probably on SmackDown, they're going to try to weasel their way to Nick Aldis to get them in the match. I mean, we just beat Randy Orton and Kevin Owens. And so if Pretty Deadly is added to the match, they're going to use the Orton-Owens victory as a vehicle to get in. But that's just something that we're hearing, something to keep an eye on. My take on this, normally you just flip out about it because it's just so laughable, but it already is. 6 teams are going to be going for these titles at Mania. At this point, just add anyone and everyone into this circus tag match, right? Add in the brothers from the Breaking Bad show, right? Remember those badass brothers? Add them in. Add in the green and red Power Rangers at this point. That's right, the green and the red one. Aren't those the most badass? Put them in there. Put in Bumble and Optimus. Bananas and CT. Eric and Fina. Just take 2 people. Just add everybody. What does it matter at this point? It's already a circus. I'm pretty sure when the match is happening, it's a ladder match for tag titles and you have 12 dudes. It could be 14 if Pretty Deadly is added. It's going to be one of those train wrecks where they're going to be ping pong balls bouncing around the ring and off of ladders and through tables. So I'm pretty sure the fans are going to be screaming, "This is awesome," and do all the chants and all of that. I'm way more traditional in the sense of WrestleMania, champions, number 1 contenders, and for at least bare minimum 2 straight months, you build a badass story between those 2 teams. And then they rock out at Mania. It's wild. If you want to put 3 or 4 teams into it, it's not like we haven't seen it in the past. Fine. But 6 and possibly 7 teams? I mean, at what point is the laziness and creative? Are we getting carried away? Just thinking about it, it's just wild. Could you imagine the Super Bowl having more than 2 teams going for the Lombardi Trophy? 6 teams going for the Super Bowl trophy. The Lombardi Trophy. 6 teams going for the World Series championship. You thought it was the Yankees and the Dodgers. Nope, the Red Sox, the Angels, the Marlins. They're all in this thing. Anyway, man, we're running short on time. I do want to talk this. Nothing to do with Mania per se. But just, it's sad. And I get this is just one of those things where the original reports we heard ended up being true. And we talked about these reports when it was about 20 losses in a row. And now it's just got, obviously, it's clear as day now. Paul Levesque McMahon has no faith in Solo Sikoa. Solo Sikoa, ever since he annihilated John Cena, what was that, like Crown Jewel many, many months ago, Solo Sikoa has not won a match since. He now sits at 34 consecutive losses. His losing streak, Solo Sikoa, his losing streak is currently at 34. And again, this was not just a loss for John Cena. This was not just doing the deed or passing a torch or anything like that. John Cena did the ultimate deed for Solo Sikoa at Crown Jewel many months ago, middle of last year. The ultimate deed by allowing Solo to not just defeat him, but annihilate him. And when Cena left to go back to Hollywood, Paul Levesque McMahon took what Jonathan Cena handed him and slammed it to the floor, stomped on it, rolled over it with a monster truck, backed that sumbitch up, and repeated the process. Paul Levesque McMahon took a shit on John Cena's work that he gave Paul Levesque McMahon before taking off. Here, I'm going to do this deed. The Austin Theory thing didn't work, unfortunately. He tried to do a big deed, a big job, hand off Levesque McMahon something special with Austin Theory. It didn't work. So he doubled down. He said, we're going to go all out. No pun intended to AEW, but we're going to do it big for Solo. I'm going to go out there and get annihilated by Solo. You just do the rest when I take off. And this dude has lost 34 straight matches. And even worse, right? Sometimes if your booking is solid, and I know this sounds strange, if you lose 34 matches, can your booking still be solid? Well, technically, you can still be looked at as special. 34 losses, maybe that's a bit too much. Just a bit much. But there's ways to still make you seem special. The problem is, not only has Solo lost 34 straight matches, Solo is as irrelevant as the Brooklyn Brawler. In fact, the Brooklyn Brawler, to BC anyway, is much more memorable. And this dude last wrestled in WWE well over, 30 years ago? Solo Sikoa has become an afterthought the moment he annihilated John Cena. And that is another reason I say when Cena comes back, we have to cut the BS. Stop putting anybody over at this point. I am done hearing that John Cena should put over younger talent because he's at the tail end of his career. I don't even care. I don't care if the dude's 75. John Cena comes back, he's got to start being John Cena again because it's not working. He puts over Theory, he puts over Solo Sikoa. It doesn't do anything. He could put over Damian Priest. He could put over Kaiser. He could put over Gunther. It doesn't matter. It doesn't do anything if Levesque McMahon doesn't know what to do with it. 34. We talked about this when it was about 20, right? 20 some odd. And we realized, whoa, something's not right here because he was an afterthought too. It wasn't just the fact that he was losing so much. The reason we had to do our research was because something didn't seem right. Ever since he defeated Cena, it seemed like something was massively off with his booking. He was being kept off shows. He was being booked silly. He was losing left and right. So finally, we had to do some research and go, what's going on with Solo? And we come to the conclusion, whoa, he lost 20-something matches. Nothing has changed since. In fact, it just got worse. The dude's at 34 losses right now. Solo Sikoa. Do you guys remember? It wasn't long ago. He was annihilating, destroying Cena. And we, the wrestling community, was anointing that moment as his calling card to the wrestling world. That was his calling card. That was his shining moment. That was his moment to declare that I am now a top star. There was people actually saying that he should be the one to take the title from Roman Reigns. Guys, it was all over. Many, many fans were saying Solo should be the guy. And here we are just a few months later, and now we're just saying Solo just needs to win a match. Take the title off of this dude just needs to win a match. Tozawa. Hornswoggle. Bring back a 65-year-old Brooklyn Brawler at this point. He just needs to win a match. We can't even talk about titles with Solo for the next 5 years at this point. That is wild. Playoffs? Playoffs? You're talking playoffs. We're just trying to win a game. Titles. We're just talking about winning a match. In fact, there's 11 matches for WrestleMania. I don't have the card in front of me, but I do not believe that Solo even has a match at Mania. I wish I had the card in front of me, but top of my dome piece, I do not believe Solo is even involved in a match. They're just kind of have him run out there in some of these matches. Maybe obviously the Cody versus Roman match. Whether Bloodline is allowed at ringside or not, they'll find a way to get him out there. He'll obviously be involved in the tag match. So I guess that's just what they're going to rest Solo on. He'll just go out there and get his ass whooped. Maybe both nights. That's wild, man. That's wild. His losing streak is now at 34 going into WrestleMania 40. And you gotta, no matter how you feel about John Cena, you really gotta feel bad for the dude. He went above and beyond. The last time I remember him taking a whooping like that was Brock Lesnar. Maybe it was like Extreme Rules one of those type of pay-per-views, but he was with Brock, and Brock had like steel steps, a chain. I think Cena was wearing the crimson mask. I just remember Brock absolutely annihilating Cena in a match. And then the Solo match kind of, it brought back that type of match atmosphere, and to see what has happened to Solo afterwards, that's wild, man. 34 and counting. He only has 3 victories in his last 50 matches, if you guys are keeping track, by the way. Only 3. So he's lost 47 of 50 and 34 in a row. Listen, we're excited for WrestleMania. It sucks that we have to end this upload on a sour note, but that's something that does need to be discussed. What is going on behind the scenes? What did Solo do to LeVec McMahon? I guess the best way to put it, the best way is unacceptable, is what it is. Unacceptable is a word I like to use a lot on this channel because it's always justified. And to take somebody like Solo Sikoa, what he did to John Cena, what John Cena did for Solo, and then to take Solo Sikoa and book him weak and irrelevant ever since, that's unacceptable. That's actually reckless and negligent booking. That's what I got for you guys, man. We are going to keep on top of all the stories with 5 nights to go before Mania later this evening for my channel members. I hope to be live right before Monday Night Raw, probably with like 5 minutes of notice if I am able to be live. But for my channel members, man, I really am going to try to carve out some time before Raw tonight to go live for my channel members, man, to show that appreciation back to all of my gold unit. So I hope to do that right before Raw. Sometime right before Raw tonight. Again, just stay locked on the channel. You'll be notified. You should already be subbed and notified anyway. You'll get the little, as long as the bell's rocking, the tube will notify you. And we will rock a live stream, a preview for Raw before Raw hits the airwaves. So that's what I like to do tonight for my channel members. Until next time, which hopefully is later tonight. So there will be that next time. Top Guys Raw BC in his amplified unit saying check you. Peace.